Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestling Gab. This is WrestleMania predictions or something else on.
WrestleMania prediction, the video capture device.
Oh, it's off. It's just not hidden anymore.
Capture. Oh. Anyways,
Looked
hey
worse
everybody.
than it was.
Thanks for being with us for the WrestleMania predictions. We're going to go over the predictions for night 1 and then night 2. Yeah, exactly.
1, 2, 3 into the foe. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre's at the dough.
Anyway, so WrestleMania 38 will be not, this weekend coming up, of course. It's going to be 2 nights, everybody, if you don't remember that. It's going to be April 2nd and April 3rd, Saturday and Sunday. The main show does start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be a 2-hour pre-show on April 2nd. That will be Saturday. That will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be on the USA Network station. I presume that it could possibly also be on Peacock, but I didn't look, and I don't really give a shit. All right, we don't know for night 2 on April 3rd if they're going to have a pre-show. They haven't really specified that yet.
It's on their website.
Oh, is it now on their website? It wasn't on there as of yesterday. So I guess that's now on there. So they're having a pre-show on night 2 also.
Does not look like there's matches on it, though.
Is the night 2 pre-show just as long?
Yeah, it's a couple hours.
So the night 2 pre-show is also 2 hours. But you will not be able to watch this on the USA Network. Looks like that will only be on Peacock. Or, if you are not in the United States, it will be on the WWE Network app. Good luck, everybody.
Hello.
All right. So, again, this is just the predictions. Of course, the matches can change. The made card can change. They've already made changes to some of it. But we're going to do our predictions now because it gives us a little extra time for the week to not do this later. There could be changes on Monday for Raw. There could be changes on Friday at SmackDown. So, that is, how it goes. There's not very many matches. And they're going to be doing some weird shit on Friday SmackDown this time around, which is even more weird. But we'll get into that.
Card is always subject to change in WWE.
Of course. We're going to do predictions for night 1. Then we will do predictions for night 2. We will say hello to a couple people in the chat. Like I said, Luke's out there. Hey, Luke. Nadula is in the chat. Hey, Nadula. Ravi is with us. And Grega John. Hello, 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 hello.
Now, most of you are going to be joining us after we're live, so make sure that when you're watching this that you put your predictions in the comments. So
yes, put your predictions in the comments because that way you can keep track of them and then we can read them and make mean comments back about them. Just kidding.
You're a stupendous intellect.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the KO show. Since Travis thinks that this is the first thing that should happen to start the whole WrestleMania off with, it should be the KO show. Which, of course, if anybody is not out there knowing what's going on, it will be Stone Cold Steve Austin to confront Kevin Owens. Will there really be a match? Will they just have some talking? Is it just going to be them face-to-face yelling and screaming at each other, having some kind of promo fight, and then Kevin Owens supposedly getting his ass beat?
Are you asking or are you saying?
What is your prediction and answer to all of that?
I just think that what's going to end up happening is Kevin Owens is going to get his ass beat. There's going to be a little bit of exchange, but not a lot. There's definitely not going to be a match. And then he's going to get hit with a stunner. But will he hit Stone Cold with a stunner first? Maybe he'll go for it, and Stone Cold will turn it around and hit him with one. Who knows? But I do know that the pop when he comes out is going to be electric.
So no matter what, KO's going to get his ass beat.
Yes.
And Stone Cold will come out on top.
Smelling like roses.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I personally don't really care. I don't know Stone Cold. I don't know anything about his wrestling career. I know absolutely nothing. I just know that a lot of you people seem to really like him.
Yeah, top 3
and
all
stuff,
time.
all that gray and stuff. So I'm sure that Vince probably really likes him too. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't keep bringing him back no matter how broken he is to do weird things with all the other wrestlers. So I'm going to say that, yeah, Stone Cold will probably come out on top somehow, some way. Whatever happens, I couldn't tell you whether they get stunners or whatever else he does. I don't know what other moves
that's
he does.
what he does.
I think KO does that same move.
He
and
does.
So
it's the battle of the stunners.
That. There. So, KO will not come out conscious.
Boom. Carried out on a stretcher.
Nadula says, I can't wait for the most stupendous talk show, the KO show. Also says, I predict that Stone Cold Steve Austin will give KO a stunner. Greg John says, maybe Stone Cold comes down in the beer truck.
That would be awesome.
Robbie says, as long as Ronda doesn't win, I'm all good. Sure.
Well, Robbie, you're going to have a bad weekend.
Yeah, you might as well just buckle up, put your big boy pants on, and just accept that probably Ronda is going to be the champion of what I heard is not going to be the SmackDown Women's Championship any longer, because God forbid that we give women something. Fuck women. Thanks, Ronda. Greg John said, maybe Stone Cold comes down the beer truck, and Janelle Jackson's in the chat. Hey, Janelle says, hey guys, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic.
Fantabulous.
Getting our predictions out there, getting them out early. We usually do them the day of.
Yeah, we decided that we really
Why
didn't
not?
want to spend as much time on, here as we possibly could not. Yay. The next one I'm going to talk about is going to be the Edge versus AJ Styles match. The reason why I'm bringing this one up next is because, again, this is a very popular one. People are looking forward to this. This is something that everybody wants to see so much.
Yes. It's probably the main event of the night.
They just want to see it. They just can't help themselves. Their love and all that good stuff.
This is like the equivalent of the 49ers of the 80s playing the Steel Curtain of the 70s, the Steelers. This is huge. Probably the biggest night of the double night. At least that's what I've been reading. More people are excited about this than any other match. Definitely going to be electric in that crowd with the nostalgia. It's basically the best wrestler from Impact's history going up against one of the top WWE wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Okay, and so you don't have anybody that you're having go win this, or that's all you say about it?
Yeah, we can definitely go back and forth on this one. Both wrestlers are great. Edge playing the heel gives him the slight advantage, I believe, but I have a feeling AJ Styles will come out ahead on that one. But Edge could pull it off with some sort of a cheat.
So basically, Travis has no idea who he really wants to go with.
This is a hard one. There's going to be a few of those, like with that women's Fatal 4-Way that we got coming up. That's a tough one. Other than I know that the champions are going to lose.
Right. Well, I'll make it easy for myself. I don't like Edge, never have. I know a lot of you are big fans. I don't like him. I just don't like him at all. Anything about him. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles to win.
Not a bad pick.
So who are you going with? Nobody?
I said AJ.
Oh. Well, you said him and then you said but. So I figured you were going with Edge, possibly. Let's see. Robbie had a comment about LOL if Belair wins. That's Mania done for me. Janelle says, as long as Sasha Banks and Naomi win the tag team titles, I wouldn't have no complaints for WrestleMania. Robbie's going for AJ for winning. Nadula says, I don't get why can't Styles versus Edge should be the main event of WrestleMania. Technically it should, but it's Women's History Month and all that stuff and blah, blah. Oh, not next month, yeah. But it still kind of is, right? And they make this huge deal about a lot of stuff with that and Bianca Belair and WrestleMania garbage and things like that. So the main event of WrestleMania, I really don't foresee that on the first night at all. Like, there's no main events on the first night.
Of course not.
Because all of these matches would just be on one night anyways, right? Remember, guys, WrestleMania hasn't been 2 nights for years. All of a sudden, they decided to do it because of the pandemic. They're recording things, blah, blah, blah. Makes it easier for them, for people, yada, yada, yada. Yakety schmackety. But the problem with it is, right, is back in the day when WrestleMania was 10 hours long and you had all these matches on one night, the main event wasn't the one that fucking happened in the middle.
No.
The main event was the one that happened at the end of the night, the most important match of all. And we all know that the most important match of all is going to happen on night 2. Never on night 1. Ever, 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 ever.
But for some, the AJ Styles Edge match is going to be their...
But it's going to be it's a match that makes it nostalgic.
Right.
Everybody wants to see it. It's going to get a good pop and stuff like that. Should they put it as the ending match of that night? Yes.
Yeah, it should end Saturday. Now, let's go back to WWE's site. It might not even happen on night 1. So
Sure.
on their site, they have it night 1, but they keep advertising it, like I saw it on Friday, for night 2.
Right.
So whether the television's telling the truth or their website's telling the truth, so it's either a misprint or what. So that match still could happen night 2. But it still wouldn't be the main event. But it could happen at the end, right before the main event.
Right. Yes.
Or start out the show with it the second night.
Yeah. One of the... Make it important. It needs to be important
Right.
in some way. No matter what, it's an important match that's happening between people that everybody are huge fans of, and that's what they want to see.
Right.
Robbie says, Dee wanted to see it. I didn't ask for this Edge match. Do you think I did? I don't remember asking for it. Nadula says, I got AJ Styles. Greg John says, I got AJ winning in the match of the night. Right? Luke says, I only predict I feel like Taker might get involved in the KO versus Stone Cold thing. Robbie says, whoop whoop, Women's History Month bar face. CBP TV is in the chat. Hey, CBP TV says hi, hello. Luke says hello. And Vindicator's in the chat for a minute. Hey, Vin says, come on, Travis. You know, delete those. Good for pouring hot water on the enthusiasm for old Adam Copeland. Just as memberships were always good for getting the best deals at Costco. Laughing.
Boom.
As Robbie says, a little Vindicator. Yeah, laughing. All right, on to the next one. So I put down, because in order of, good things and then crappy things in the middle. Ray and his son Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul. So they haven't had a lot of build up to this. The most build up they had, I guess, was The Miz and Ray a little bit. Are they doing this because, one, Ray is a legend, he's on the WK2 2022 game thing, and, of course, he needs a WrestleMania match and things like that. Is it weird that they picked Logan Paul as their extra for him to have? No, it's not, I guess. And where's Bad Bunny in all this?
Bad Bunny just sitting at home. Probably touring the country, making millions.
Possibly. Anyways. You?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This match is highly predictable for me. We got Logan Paul turning on The Miz, going to celebrate at the end of the match with the Mysterios. After The Miz, disrespected their hometown that they both grew up in, you could tell Logan wasn't happy. So Logan will end up turning on The Miz. The Miz will be the lone bad guy, and the other three will be celebrating at the end of the night. Very predictable match.
Very predictable for Mysterios.
Just the storyline.
Cool beans. Yeah, they like to do The Miz dirty and everybody hates him, and it makes for good dramatic TV and whatnot. Miz can take it. He doesn't care. What I think is funny is all the pictures he has of Ray's mask in his house everywhere he goes.
Oh,
it's the Miz and Mrs. and Ray's mask. It's pretty funny, actually, in some ways.
It is, especially there on Instagram. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
But I have to unfortunately agree that the dumb Mysterios are going to win because of all the garbage and dumbness. So, am I happy about it? No. Do I care? Not really. But, that's how the game gets played with this stuff. Vindicator's like, right, Robbie, that's something you can automatically think on it. Very good. John says, hey, Vin. And Robbie says, Ray and Sons winning. Ray and Sons sound like fraudulent law firm. Well, it pretty much is. Vindicator says, so for me, I just hope the Universal title and WWE title get unified as one belt going forward. Don't care who wins, but I do want Bianca and Liv and Rhea to win their respective matches. Vindicator says, hi, John. All right.
Woo!
Well, since that one was just so exciting to talk about, let's talk about the other most exciting match of the night. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
Yeah, definitely. Are you going first?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This one is got to be the most lopsided match in the history of WrestleMania almost. There is no way McIntyre's losing this.
Right.
So how they get to that point, whether it's the cheating through Mad Hat or whatever,
Madcap Moss.
and then somehow that starts a feud between him and Corbin, like down the road, like because he interfered, but kind of in the wrong way or something. But I do not see Corbin even squeaking out a fruit roll up in this one. So Drew McIntyre wins it clean.
On his side, he won't bring out his
Equalizer,
sword to
prison chain.
pretend to kill people with and all that stuff.
No.
I do not like Drew McIntyre. I do not like him at all. I do not like him with green eggs and ham. I don't like him anywhere at all. But because WWE is what they are, and they do the dumbest shit possible because they push these people in my face so much and then make me hate them because of it, I know he'll win. So there's no way they would ever have Corbin win anything. The only thing that they would ever do is, you know, he won't even get his move out, his finisher. And the reason why he won't get his finisher out is because he doesn't care if he ever wins titles or anything like that, as long as nobody can get out of his finisher. And so they'll make sure that that doesn't come into play and Happy Corbin. Then, you know, who knows what's next? Oh, wait, they'll throw Drew in another title match because, God forbid, if we never see that again.
There is a good possibility Vince does allow him to do his end of days and Drew kicks out of it. Be the first one to ever do it.
Right, and then we know that Happy Corbin is even on the more down slope of being treated like garbage. But, you know, hey, that's how it goes with these kind of people, right? Anybody out there have any predictions on that one? Do we have a lot of Drew fans? I know we do have a lot of Drew fans. I know there's
Drew is a very popular superstar.
McIntyre and his weird sword thing that he does and all that stuff. Film is in the chat, though. Hey, Film says, hey, Misty and Travis, big hugs and big hearts. Yes,
Woo.
yes. Robbie says, whoop, whoop, the F1 is on. Robbie says, hello, this WrestleMania sounds like a nightmare, LOL. For whom? For the people having to sit and watch it, or for the people that should be winning the matches but get screwed out of it because, God forbid, that doesn't make good TV? Anybody else have any predictions for that match? If not, I'm going to move on to the next one because, like I told you,
and people are just going to leave it in the comments below and we'll move forward.
Because these are kind of blah matches, right? They're not the exciting ones. Anyway, so the next one we're going to talk about, of course, are actual championship matches that mean something. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship is men, of course. The Usos are the champions versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs.
Rick Boogs.
Haven't had a lot of interaction between these two. Really, that I've seen.
Yeah, since the jumping a couple weeks ago.
That's about it. I don't know what happened on Friday. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if more jumping happened.
2 weeks ago, Rick Boogs pinned Jay Uso and got the win, and last week Nakamura pinned Jimmy Uso. So they have pinned them both individually, as they should. They're singles wrestlers. I always say a singles wrestler should beat a tag team wrestler, but I still have the Usos winning this one.
Okay. I'm sure they will, and I'll probably lose this because of it, but I'm going to say that Shinsuke and Rick Boogs win it.
Be cool.
It won't happen.
I will be happy.
But we'll pretend that it might. Because, you know, why not? Greg and John says the Usos retain, I think. You and Travis think are on the same lines. I'm thinking that too, but because I don't really want to see them win, I feel like it needs to go away from their little grouping. But, you know, Nadula says I got the Usos retaining because we are the ones. Ravi says Rick Nakamura winning. And he's so excited for Mania. I totally am. Just so excited. There really isn't much else to talk about with the Usos. I think some of that It's weird that it's on night one, but at the same time, it makes sense. If you go off of some dynamic that might happen with Roman Reigns and stuff, that's why I'm guessing or hoping that they'll change the titles onto somebody else. For
Right.
what I'm going for in my mind of what's happening there.
Will the Bloodline leave with all the titles?
Right. Let's see. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is, I'm not sure which one they're going to put as the final match of the night on night one. So,
Ronda Rousey.
well,
Definitely.
I put that one as the last one.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to talk about is the Raw Women's Championship match, which actually still is a women's championship match. Becky Lynch, who's your champion, versus Bianca Belair.
I think it's the end of a 7-month-long storyline, and Bianca wins it.
Yeah. God forbid. Well, I'm just going to say Becky, even though she won't win, and I will get thrown under the bus, and WWE will ruin all of my hopes and dreams in life of making everybody's life miserable by having Becky Lynch still be the champion. Looks like I want Becky to win, but I predict Esther will.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's definitely going to be
I
Esther.
want. The prediction, though, is it's going to be that one, but I'm going to say Becky because, I don't like the other one, like, at all. Like, not even a little bit. I used to, and then the hair whipping thing, I totally think that her hair should be ripped off of her head.
Automobile accident.
Robbie says, of course, Belair is winning. Can't upset the fraud Esta. Nadula says, I think Bianca will win. Yes, I'm pretty sure everybody and their 2 children want Bianca to win or will think that she will win, and you are probably all correct, and it will be true. Grega John says, Bianca wins. Yes. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. They've
Might be the first night of the match of the evening.
pushing in her face a lot. Film says I love Becky and Bianca, but I've had to choose one. It would be Bianca. Kosher Pagal is in the chat. Hey, Kosher says
Hey, Kosher.
Beast is going to hurt Roman very bad.
Ah,
We will
definitely.
talk about that for night 2. Right now, we're just going over the night 1 WrestleMania 38 match card, which of course is subject to change if you don't know which ones we're talking about. Those matches on that night 1 so far, and this of course can change, as the KO show with Stone Cold and Kevin confronting each other, Edge versus AJ, Ray and his son versus The Miz and Logan Paul, Drew Mac versus Happy Corbin, the SmackDown Tag Championship, the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boogs, the Raw Women's Championship match we were just talking about, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. So that's where we're at right now with our predictions. Sun says Bianca will be the new WWE Raw Women's Championship of the world. Fantastic. Robbie says if Becky gets screwed, then it's AEW for her. Nah.
No.
I don't think so.
I think she makes too much money.
Becky makes too much money, and she is championship material. Becky's never not going to be championship material. She can talk. She can get the crowds involved. I think the reason why they did what they've done is to try to get more pop for Bianca. Her popularity has grown, as you can see. People in the chat are saying she's going to win. She's gotten a lot more press and stuff like that. And it's not that she can't go out there and talk and do her thing, but I just don't enjoy much about her anymore. Her slapping of her ass thing, and there's a couple things that she does that just bugs me anymore. But
Right. I
that's
would
just
assume that
one.
Becky's going to drop the belt and then go beat Ronda for the belt at WrestleMania next year. If she doesn't get another baby
Yeah.
before then. What's my guess? I mean, because Ronda's only going to be around for another year.
Right.
So, we'll see.
We'll see how that works out. Talking about that stupid yatch. I know there's a lot of people out there that might be fans of her. I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. Let's talk about the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Underlining of women's championship. Charlotte Flair, your champion, versus Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I say women's because, Ronda's trying to say she's not going to call it that anymore. And it's like, bitch, please. It's a women's championship match. Don't take that away from women. Don't be a cunt. Don't be a cunt. Don't be a twat. Nobody likes it. Let's see. Who you got?
Ronda Rousey. Hands down, she's going to win that. They wouldn't have brought her back. They wouldn't have spent all that money if they were going to have Charlotte continue to be champion.
Oh, yes. And I'll lose this too because I don't like her enough that I will just say Charlotte Flair no matter what.
Right. Yeah, I wish that one of the two would keep their titles moving forward. One of the two homegrown stars. But Bianca's a homegrown star too, so.
Yeah. And she was a champion before. I mean, not a very good one, but, hopefully that might be different this time around. Doubtful, but we'll pretend.
Well, Becky came back. They had to put it on Becky. She's never lost it. And that's what they keep talking about. She's never lost. It's been over 3 years, blah, 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 blah. That's why she's losing. If she had only had it since SummerSlam, then they'd be like, we'll keep the title on her. But since it's been 3 years since she's lost, she's going to lose. Is my bet on that one.
Right. Vincent Misty, by the way, I had a good time at Disney World. Fantastic. Did you have to wait in line for the rides for 3 hours or more? Because I've heard that's the best part of going to Disneyland or Disney World. For sure says, what about Kevin Owens and Stone Cold? Yes,
that's how we started this out.
We talked about that earlier. That's how we kind of started it out. Steve Austin will probably make sure KO gets his ass kicked, and KO will be, pulled under the bus. Plus, they're going to be in Texas, where supposedly Steve Austin reigns from. Unfortunately, he's been Californianized so badly that I don't think it really matters anymore. I don't think people in Texas would really want him back, but, whatever, you guys. Whatever. Let's see. Film says, not going to lie. Probably Charlotte's going to win it. I love my Charlotte Flair. Nadula says, easy. I got the baddest woman of the planet, Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
And Phil says, let's go Charlotte. Woo. Yes.
Woo!
But, and how they pull that off will be interesting. Anyways, that is the end of night one. There aren't any more matches that we know of that have been added. Again, the match card is subject to change. We do have another Raw and SmackDown that is going to occur before WrestleMania next weekend. So they can add matches during that time. If that does happen, we will probably go over those on Friday of this week. Either a little bit before or after the SmackDown show, just so we can go over any changes that might have happened for the WrestleMania card. And those kind of changes can also happen during pre-show stuff and things like that. So we'll kind of keep ourselves educated about what's happening, just so we can come back every day. Greg John says Ronda wins. Film said, no, I had Fastlane for Disney. No, I did not have to wait in line. Cool. Luke says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm hoping Charlotte wins. LOL. And Robbie says, the background noise sounds like an old vinyl. LOL. Uh-oh. I didn't know you heard background noise, but thanks for telling us. Film says, what I'm trying to say is I got Genie, so I don't have to wait in line. Oh. Nadula says, I think we are going to see 4 title changes at WrestleMania. Kersher says, Brock Lesnar will acknowledge Tribal Chief. Haha. Ravi says, please, WWE, don't add any more matches. Right? We already have a 2-hour pre-show, which is fucking ridiculous.
With no matches.
On 2 nights. It's not like it's like, oh, hey, we're going to do 2 hours this time, so we can go over Hall of Fame stuff and blah, blah, blah. No. We're going to do a 2-hour pre-show on the second night as well. Weirdos. Nadula says Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin should be in the kickoff show instead of the main show. They don't want you right, but they don't have anything in the kickoff show. Nothing. It's a 2-hour pre-show kickoff show. But
is there any match you're looking forward to on night one?
No, I'm really not. Because everything that I want to happen won't. And I've learned to be completely and utterly disappointed by wrestling every time I watch it. So I've just gotten to a point where I'm just like, yeah, well, we knew that was going to happen. Yeah, well, we knew that was going to. Because they play towards the stupidity of Twitter and bots on there with what they want instead of what actual people in the real world might actually want. Which is sad, but true. Anyways, what about you? One of those you're looking forward to seeing? Like, it's going to be exciting? Maybe?
AJ Edge is going to be fantastic. I don't think Charlotte Ronda is going to be that great of a wrestling match. And hopefully, since it's in the mid-card, they're going to be able to have Ronda keep up with Charlotte. Charlotte has not been embarrassed, so I do not know how that one's going to end. I'm looking forward to it, but I do see Ronda coming out ahead. Mm-hmm. But even the jumping that's happened to Ronda has been brutal. Charlotte hasn't got much of the bad end of the stick, I guess you would say.
Right.
Because even what she did a couple weeks ago, remember when she got tapped out in the ring or whatever she was doing? At the end of that night, remember she attacked her on the car?
Yes.
Ronda. So Charlotte keeps coming out ahead, which is telling me that Ronda's going to win, but I'm not sure how. Same with Becky. That one is my least look forward to because I definitely don't want to see Becky lose. What is that one? Oh, that's tag team.
Tag team one.
No, I do want the Usos to win, just because I don't think Nakamura and Homeboy should be a tag team. Nakamura should be a singles wrestler. And like I said, I predicted The Miz and Logan breaking up in the middle of the fight, in the middle of the match, and Miz being by himself. Yeah, so Edge and AJ, definitely.
For theatric-wise and wrestling and for stuff that's going to happen, Travis is going with that match being the better match just because of who's involved.
Right,
really.
the athletes.
That's all it is. It's not because there's titles involved or anything like that. Luke says there does seem to be some static. I just heard it, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
If it's not too annoying, then good. If it is annoying, we'll go back and see if we can fix it, of course, before we do our show tomorrow night. Robbie says to our pre-show, I'm definitely skipping that. Kusher says, by the way, good night in advance. Okay. Film says my prediction for WrestleMania 38, part 1 of 2, Rey Mysterio and his son will defeat Miz and Logan. Charlotte Flair wins, and Bianca Belair and Roman Reigns team Rhea, Ripley, Liv Morgan, John Knoxville will win. Cool. We'll get to night 2 in just a minute there, film. So if you're still sticking around with us and hanging out with us, we're going to do, the next. Robbie says it's WWE expect disappointment. And Luke says so many matches that the 4 hours of pre-show will just be video packages. I have a feeling it's just going to be video packages, and it's going to be like stuff of Hall of Fame stuff. I swear that's all it's going to be. And they might throw some 24/7 shit in there here and there. Robbie says, Luke, I know, right? So pointless. Phil says part 2 of 2. Drew Mac will defeat Baron. Austin Theory will win with Vince McMahon if he comes down and distracts Pat McAfee, and Angel will defeat Ricochet for the IC title. Okay, that's not happening
on
anywhere
Friday
on WrestleMania itself. So we'll talk about some of that stuff after we do it. Let's go to night 2, guys, since there's 2 nights of this prediction stuff. Night 2 of WrestleMania 38 is going to be on Sunday, April 3rd. Again, there is a 2-hour pre-show. There will not be one on the USA Network for this one. It looks like it probably will just be on Peacock itself.
And the network.
And the WWE Network if you are not in the States. That pre-show will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The main card, the main show, will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Night 2 again is on Sunday, April 3rd. And the first one we're going to talk about on this card, I'm going to say, is the Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory match.
Woo!
So there you go.
So usually in these type of events, you have the celebrity win. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go with that. I feel like the celebrity's going to win it. McAfee did really good at the NXT TakeOver event a few years ago against Adam Cole, and Adam Cole's a better wrestler. Granted, he's smaller than Austin Theory, but he is the better athlete of the two. So I do feel that McAfee will win this.
Right. I feel that they're both liked by Vince McMahon a lot. It's not like Pat McAfee is, treated like shit by Vince McMahon. Austin Theory, we haven't seen any of his little things with Vince McMahon lately. He is, just a douche at this point. I know a lot of people didn't really like Pat McAfee when he came into it or anything, but I think that that Pat McAfee should win. I think he should win and teach the little brat a lesson. Because he needs to be taught a lesson, right? I mean, that's what I think it's all about, is teaching him. But it's not going to teach him anything. He's still going to be an asshole and a douche and do his thing or whatever after the fact. I'm just hoping that ends whatever it is there, because Austin Theory isn't really on SmackDown, right?
He's a Raw guy.
SmackDown.
Yep.
He's really on Raw, and he's been having some things with Finn Balor over there. And I kind of want the whole Pat McAfee thing to just end. And I don't know if the reason why they're having it is because of Vince McMahon and maybe Austin's jelly that Vince McMahon gave, some attention to somebody else. And he's like a 3-year-old having a tantrum right now with it. That's what it reminds me of. You're not allowed to talk to my friend. So, man, I'm gonna say that Pat McAfee is gonna win that just because he should. I just think it gives him a little bit better. I mean, I think it gives him better credibility and all that stuff. So, Robbie says, testing out my new Bluetooth speaker. Oh, you poor thing. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Film says, I will miss you. I will definitely stick around. Robbie says, Pat Mac winning. Vindicator says, did you or will you predict Rollins versus Cody? We'll talk about that after kind of all the stuff is kind of done. I wanted to go through all the matches before we kind of brought any of that stuff up. But as Gregor John says, Vin, cool. Vindicator says, yeah, I'm back, John. A Film says, I'm not a big fan of Pat McAfee in my honest opinion. And Luke says, I hope Pat wins. He's funny, but I don't want Austin buried either. I don't think he's going to. He just doesn't belong on SmackDown, right, Luke? I mean, it's kind of where it comes from. Just end the shit with whatever's happening with Pat McAfee. Let them both have their little, visionaries with Vince McMahon and be done with it. Put Austin Theory back where he belongs over on Raw doing his thing, and having his fight with Finn Balor and all that stuff. Because there's stuff over there for him to do, right? You have Universal titles, you have stuff happening over there that really needs to, still have that. And he was having a thing. So it was weird that he was having 2 separate, whatever you call it, feuds on that stuff. So Noodle says, I think it might end at WrestleMania Backlash. Vin and James Jones is in the chat. Hey, James.
Hey, James.
The Indicator says, I want Theory versus Balor to end too. More fresh matchups all around, in fact. Best Gaming is in the chat. Hey, Best Gaming. Noodle says, cheers to Greg and John. Best Gaming says, I think in the main event, Roman and Brock are going to shake hands, hug each other, and then go for lunch. Oh, you're sweet. James Jones says, for Pat, they love his spirit because when he played football, the Colts used to find him on the off season for training for wrestling. Let's see. Awesome. Luke says, Vindicator, anytime WWE does give you something new, you crap all over like everything else. Boom says, hey, Ravi, hello, how are you doing? And Nadula says, I got Austin Theory. Ravi says, Dia got a still 16 pounds for a basic Bluetooth speaker with a mini built-in sub. So cool. Yeah, those ones are pretty cool. The ones with those, as long as it's a pretty good brand. The problem with some of them, when they're not such a good brand, they may be basic for a while, but then they blow that little mini sub. Gregor John says Theory wins. Vindicator says, yeah, probably Nadula, and I still despise that pay-per-view name. Robbie says, film all good, just watching the F1. Film says, I liked it, the Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown last night. It was a really good match. I'm kind of happy Sasha Banks won, a.k.a. Boss. James Jones says, on Pat's show, they talk about and Vince saw his wrestling ring. Woo. Yes. All that good stuff. All right, so it looks like we do have some Austin Theory people out there, which doesn't surprise me. I know you guys, some of you really like Austin Theory. And I get it, he's a wrestler and stuff like that. Pat McAfee did wrestle. He wrestled down at NXT. He had that weird feud going on down there with his little peeps. And he only wrestled a couple times. But I just feel that it needs to just stop with Austin Theory. It just seems like it's a pissing match at this point of nothing against who gets Vince McMahon's attention. And in all reality, I think that Austin Theory should lose, lick his wounds, and go back to Raw where he belongs and stay there and never come back to SmackDown again. Ever.
All right.
Ever. Let's see. Best Gaming says, who you think will win the main event? We're going to get to that. We're going in order. This isn't how it'll be on the night, by the way. This is just how I wrote it down. of the matches. So we'll get there. We kind of keep those things, what we think is the main event, as the end, so we can talk about it better and more. Nadula says, one thing that I don't get is that why in the hell in a cell is going to be in June. Just how they change stuff.
They're changing things around.
Vindicator says, LOL, even Travis wouldn't agree with that, Luke. Name one recent fresh match I crapped all over. Film says that is great to hear, Ravi, and James Jones says, I like him. He has the star potential. Yes. All right. So the next one we're going to talk about is the Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn match. Again, we have a celebrity kind of match that's happening, and I wonder if they're going to kind of use Johnny Knoxville in a sense like they did, what's his name?
Bad Bunny?
Arquette. David Arquette kind of thing. So, I don't know.
Well, there is no title on the line.
No, there's not a title. I'm not saying title winning or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about.
Just an actor winning.
Just an actor winning kind of thing and stuff like that, but I don't know. So.
Yeah, I'm probably the most forward-looking match at WrestleMania for me on this one, because I love Sami Zayn and I love John Knoxville's storyline on this.
Yeah.
So, but I have a feeling that John Knoxville's going to win.
Okay.
There again, I will always go with the celebrity.
Right. They usually don't do them dirty.
But after the switching of the telephone numbers and flying them on planes and, oh my gosh, writing them in subways and in bathrooms. And it's a great storyline.
Yeah.
It's the most intriguing one to me. Sami Zayn camping out at the debut of his movie. Mm-hmm. Just
showing
out the
up.
red carpet. And
just being there, showing up, having a good time. The thing of it is like, so they do that, right? And they have him, whoever win, is it going to be over? Like, at that point,
yes.
Is it going to be done? Is he going to just be like, fine, you beat me fair and square, I'm out. Go do your Hollywood crap and get out of my wrestling ring.
Absolutely. Just like Bad Bunny and Miz.
That kind of thing and all that stuff. Sami Zayn's character can take this and it wouldn't really be a big deal. It just falls into his conspiracies with WWE. They're all against him. No, I wish he'd kind of bring back his documentary because that was hilarious. I wish it didn't ever end. It should have kept following him. But yeah, I feel like they're going to give Johnny Knoxville the win. Why else would they bring him into it? I'm pretty sure he's a huge wrestling fan. I don't think he's not been a wrestling fan.
The dude's tried to kill himself for 30 years and recorded it on
doing
TV.
Shit worse than wrestling.
He's going to do some crazy moves in this match.
And it's going to be hard on Sami because he's going to have to keep him safe, right? So Sami can be physical with him, but he's going to have to keep him safe at the same time because we all know what happens in wrestling when moves go wrong.
Biggie.
Right? People get hurt.
Biggie.
And it's not from the person that's doing the move on the person. It can be the fault of the person that the move's getting done on. The prime example, of course, unfortunately, is Big E, which I'm glad he is getting better, but he did learn a huge lesson of how scary it is for his situation. He did get a pretty big slap in the face of what
reality.
His reality check of that broken C1. Bad things could have really happened. And that's when you aren't... It's almost like you don't trust the person that's doing the move. And if you can't trust the person doing the move, then you should have said something and not done the move with them. The person did the move correctly. He got him over really well, even though he's a bigger man. And the person that Biggie just didn't tuck his head. You can watch it 50,000 times and he still didn't tuck his head correctly.
He kept his head this way instead of putting his chin down.
So, like he thought he wasn't going to get him over. But beside the point. So, those things are going to happen, of course, with Knoxville and Sami Zayn. And Knoxville can, he can be thrown around and he takes a beating and stuff. But he is getting older. So, right? So, you do have to take that into account also, that he is getting older. Film says, wait, hold up. They're going to do Hell in a Cell in June. The WWE pay-per-view Hell in a Cell in June. Yes, that's been announced for quite a while, Film. The last month or so, they've kind of made that kind of a thing. Robbie says Sami to win. Vindicator says Knoxville wins like Bad Bunny, Good Rabbit, or whatever did last year. Robbie says Sasha and the walking strobe light should win. We haven't talked about that, but we will here soon. I Love Roblox is in the chat. Hey, I Love Roblox. That's who's your favorite WWE superstar. WWE superstars. James says this one throws me off a little because they love to get beat up too. Right? But it's hard because you're like, well, he's going to get beat up and then do it. Looks like I get the feeling Sami versus Knoxville is going to get cray, with Knoxville getting shot out of a cannon at some point. Or jumping off of something. Who knows? Who fucking knows, right? Greg John says Knoxville wins. Bryce Pitts is in the chat. Hey, Bryce says, hello, Wrestling Gab. Happy Sunday, and Jesus is King. Yes. It is the day of the Lord for a lot of people out there. Bryce says, anyways, I think Sami Zayn will defeat Johnny Knoxville. That's how I think it's going to go. Did see funny TikTok the other day about this person. Was like, did you know that you can buy the communion crackers online in a big thing of them, so you can just eat the body of Christ whenever you want? Very interesting.
You can just bless any bread and eat it.
Well, I don't know if you possibly can. I'm pretty sure you would have to take it to a priest or a father or a pastor, whomever, to bless it for you. But yes, you can buy the little wafer crackers that they go get your own red wine and you're all set. Vindicator says, but where would Knoxville land, Luke? Dalton Chupp is in the chat. Hey, Dalton says, are they going to stream this on TV? As Vindicator says, stream what, Dalton?
WrestleMania's pre-show will be on Saturday at 6 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, it's going to be on the USA Network for the pre-show on Saturday. The 2-hour pre-show is going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be on the USA Network. I don't know if it'll be anywhere else. We didn't really look to see. Sunday also has a 2-hour pre-show. It's streaming on the Peacock Network, I'm guessing, since we haven't seen it anywhere else. And for anybody else, that's probably going to be the WWE Network, would be my guess. I didn't see it on any of the pay-per-view stations for like satellite or cable, if it's on those. Usually that's kind of where they put it also, but they didn't really show a pre-show. They just showed the actual pay-per-view itself, nothing else. The actual WrestleMania stuff will start at 8 p.m. Eastern. That will not stream on anything except Peacock TV. So if you have Peacock, if you're in the States, it'll be on the Peacock app. If you are not in the States, it will be on WWE Network, which is where it will stream at, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for something else, I have no idea. I have no answers. You'll have to do some Googling research on that on your own. Robbie says, if they can't do the move safely, that shouldn't be wrestling. LOL. Nadula says, what you gonna do, Wrestling Gab, when Sami Zayn runs wild on you, brother?
Oh, yeah.
I hope so. Sami Zayn's a crazy person, and his, Fidel Castro outfits he wears. James Jones says, definitely time when Steve-O and Chris was on and 3 minutes warning beat the hell out of them and they wanted more. It was crazy. Robbie says, hello, the pre-show. Bryce says, I think Becky Lynch is going to retain her championship. I just don't see Bianca winning, and Charlotte might lose to Ronda. Robbie says, how long is Hall of Fame these days? Don't know. Don't personally care. I know a lot of people.
You might be able to just look. Is it just going to be on the network?
I don't. Yeah,
if it's on the network, you don't know, because they can just do whatever they want. If it's on TV, you can kind of check ahead. Yeah. But I know Rampage is going to get buried.
Yeah. Bryce says, not going to lie, say, get this match over with, let Baron Corbin win this match and let him come back to his heel persona instead of being happy, poor Corbin. James says, it'd be on Peacock for $4.99.99. Whatever plan you pick, they're both live for states. Yes. Robbie says Ronda should just stay at home, and Greg John's like, Robbie laughing. Robbie's like, Sami is an OG build, like that. Yes, and Robbie says, I don't care, 2D, but just asking.
All right.
The Hall of Fame, yeah, fuck I know, dude. I mean, seriously, I have absolutely no idea. In the past, when I know, like, Travis would have, like, before we were doing this stuff on YouTube for this, and he would have people come over, and the Hall of Fame was right before WrestleMania, or it was the night before.
It was on Friday, yeah.
And stuff. He would make a whole day of it. And you literally had to start at like 9 or 10 a.m. our time in order to be able to watch everything. And I'm not just talking, I'm talking like WrestleMania plus NXT stuff if you wanted to watch that. And the Hall of Fame. It was a whole day thing. And it wasn't like, oh, it started at 10 a.m. and ended at, 9. It was 10 a.m. to like midnight.
I think it was 2 hours for one, 3 hours for the other. And then God knows how long. WrestleMania was like 9 hours with the 2-hour pre-show.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that the Hall of Fame, and I don't even know how many people are in it. They've only mentioned like 3 people that
it reminds
me.
me.
In our chat.
The Hall of Fame reminds me of a government bill. So
they only tell you the main things
right,
that
so,
they want you to know.
Right, so that I feel like it's that, right? Like, so Congress comes ahead and then they say, okay, we'll do it with the Republicans. The Republicans, you know, they want to raise interest in the military, right? Like for when veterans come back, they get more money or something. Right. So everybody's on board. Everybody wants that, right? Yeah. But then at the bottom they say, and then everybody gets an automatic machine gun that's 7 and up.
Right.
Right? And so the Dems vote it down. And then everybody goes, "Oh, the Democrats hate the military.
Veterans.
They hate the military."
They hate veterans.
So it's exactly what's happening, right? Like they got the Undertaker, but then they put pieces of crap like Chanel, and then there's a couple other ones in there. I'm like, what the? But the Undertaker's headlining it, so if you don't watch it, then you miss you hate the Undertaker, and it's like, no, I just don't like almost anybody else. I do like Vader, by the way. So there is 2 veterans on there that I really like. Right. But there's a couple that I'm just like, I stand against.
But the only way that you'd be able to watch it and only watch the parts you want is record it and then fast forward through the parts you don't ever want to see.
Yeah, you couldn't watch it live.
You couldn't watch it live because you'd have to sit through the shit and the garbage and that you may. I mean, other people may be.
Yeah, they might love
other people
Booker
might
T's
love
wife.
People. Sorry,
that did nothing for the sport.
If you guys are fans, then fantastic. I'm glad they have fans. I don't know them, so I couldn't say anything. But I mean, I don't know them. That's the point, right? You can say those names to me, and I'll be sitting here like, I don't know who the fuck that is. You say the Undertaker, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that guy. You know, oh yeah, that makes sense. I know that guy. Hey, you know what? They even had a whatchamacallit named after him. A big truck, a monster truck. You know, even I knew that. Like
Gravedigger's not really.
Kind of, yeah. But you know, I mean, stuff like that. You're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. But otherwise, I wouldn't know these people. But if they have that, that's fantastic.
All right.
Anyways, let's see. Robbie says Sami is okay. Let's see. Robbie says I don't care. And he says, what a waste of a whole good day for the Hall of Fame. Benedict says, so pre-shows are basically people sitting at a big glass table doing live recaps and then tossing a match between low-card people just for kicks and giggles. Kind of a pointless 1 or 20 minutes to be honest. And not even, there might not even be matches. I don't think they're doing
that. Nothing has been announced for a pre-show match. Nothing.
I mean, and that can change, right? We have a whole week for them to add something. But in all reality, they don't have anything. They have nothing that they've said. And we'll get into a little bit of other stuff why there might not even be. Nadula says, are you going to live stream NXT Stand and Deliver? Because I hear it is going to be the same date as WrestleMania. It's earlier.
It is. It's earlier in the day. It's 1 Eastern.
Day on Saturday. Probably not. Just because that's a lot of streaming. That's a lot, right, guys? I mean, like, that's Friday, all day Saturday, half of Sunday, and then you have Raw on Monday. That's a lot of streaming for us. And granted, you know, we like to have downtime too. That is not included in that. So at this point, probably not. Bryce says, I don't know. I think Ronda Rousey might hold on the title for at least 200, 300 days as champion and then maybe lose it to somebody who's a new face.
Yeah, Becky.
Not a new face, but an old face that probably should be a champion. You know, when we have people coming back, right? At some point, we're going to see Lacey Evans. At some point, we're going to see Asuka. At some point, Bayley's coming back, guys.
Io Shirai.
Like, things are happening that these people are going to be coming back and we're going to be seeing more of them. Ravi says Hall of Lame. Are you talking about Kairi Sane?
Nope.
Oh.
I
feel like they're going to bring her up.
She has to. She's spent where she's at.
Yeah, she's kind of run the course, hasn't she? Mm-hmm. And where the fuck is Xia Li? All of a sudden she disappeared.
I saw a picture of her today riding a bicycle.
Oh, was she? That's nice. She was riding a bicycle.
I think
but
she was
not on
standing
TV.
by it. Yeah. It was on Twitter.
Let's see, as Robbie says, Hall of Lame. James says 4 so far, but they said more to be announced, just like the card. They said there are going to be 7 to 8 matches each night. Right? I mean, yeah. I mean, they could add more. Gregor John says...
Right now we're at 6 each night.
Bryce says, I'm definitely going to get WWE 2K22, the video game. Yes, I thought about going to the game store yesterday because I was right next to it and seeing if they had a copy, but I didn't go in. Robbie says, nah, I will let you guys sit through that crap alone instead of me. I ain't sit through that shit. But the reason why I didn't go in was because, one, I was hungry and I really wanted to get home to have dinner and make dinner. But also there was a really awesome boxing match on that I'm glad I did not miss. It was really good, and the women's title changed hands, so it'll be fun.
The Blonde Bomber.
The Blonde Bomber did win. No kidding, over a champion who had it for like 6 years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years she had that title for 5 or 6 years. Crazy. James says also we grew up to the war to VHS.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who Ebony Bridges is, just Google it real quick and you might become a fan instantly.
Yeah, Ebony Bridges.
The Blonde Bomber.
The Blonde Bomber. Vinegar says 90% of the current fan community doesn't know or care about Sharmell.
Nobody.
But that's the case every year. Always 1 or 2 people nobody ever remembers. So whenever I hear that name, I automatically think of toilet paper.
Chanel.
Sharmell. It just Sharmell. I'm like, oh, toilet paper? Is that a toilet paper brand? I don't know. Seriously, when it was first, I was like, toilet paper? Roberto Lozano's in the chat for saying, hello, I can't wait for WrestleMania next Saturday and Sunday. Yes, a lot of people are looking forward to it because it's WrestleMania, right? Robbie says, even a pony has more tricks than Esta and Ronda. Things are happening. Vindicator says WrestleMania is just one big participation award ceremony. This WrestleMania, it is. It seems like it's just a participation trophy thing. Boom says, I'm definitely excited for WrestleMania 30. I can't wait to see some of my favorite wrestlers win, and some of the wrestlers I do like seeing them lose, and all of that good stuff, and including. And see beautiful women in WWE showing off their beautiful feminine parts. Robbie says, D, good call. Food more important. James says, yo, y'all watch that. I heard it was great. Watch what, James? I didn't quite catch what you're saying.
What are we watching?
Oh, the boxing. Yes. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. We watched it yesterday. Oh yeah, we're huge boxing fans, by the way. We watch boxing more often than anything else, actually. But yeah, it was such a good fucking event. Yeah, James, that boxing event was, that girl fight, I watched
awesome.
it. It was great.
Actually, both girl fights on the card were good.
Yeah. The first one wasn't too bad either. She's new. It was like her debut or something like
Warrington won also. He won his title.
Oh, yeah.
That he lost 5 years ago.
Yeah, if you're a huge UK person
Or 7.
and you like
no,
your
he'd won it 7 years ago.
UK boxing guys, Warrington won back the title from
Martinez.
Martinez, the guy from Spain who'd had it for a couple of years. So their rematch, he got it back. So
knocked him silly a couple times.
Yeah.
Good boxing match, all in all.
Yeah.
Did you know Warrington had to have jaw surgery afterward? He's in the hospital right now.
Oh, he got his jaw broken from that.
I don't know if it was broken or what, but he had to get jaw surgery.
Oh, shit,
it was
poor
successful.
guy.
He was thumbs upping.
Good. Vindicator says, oh, Dalitha, those Charmin Bear commercials are pretty funny. Right? Like, so right? I mean, every time I hear her name, all I can think about is toilet paper.
Itchy bottom? Is your kids not getting their butt clean?
Right? It's so weird. Robbie says Bailey best win a title when she's back. Right? I mean, instead of doing, that
Forgot about
show's
Bailey.
Funny. That's who I mentioned. I mentioned.
I thought you just did the two.
I said Lacey Evans. Asuka. I said Asuka, and I said Bailey. We have 3 good wrestlers, top women coming back that should be involved in title matches no matter fucking what.
And it's going to be logjam with Esther and freaking Ronda.
Yeah. It'll be the same fucking crap like they've had with Roman having it. It'll be barfo.
The Roman storyline.
It will get old fucking fast. And Ronda will get old faster than anything else. I mean, Roman, at least, he kind of, he's gone with the flow. He's kind of changed some stuff up and everything like that.
He's got a stable.
But Ronda, it's going to suck asshole. It's going to suck asshole just like when she had it the first time. And I hate her. I hate her so badly that I seriously, I hate her. I do not like her at all. Like, everything about her I don't like. Anyways, let's see. Film says, oh, Misty, did you see that commercial for Pepsi? It's called Intro Pepsi, and it has a different color in the logo.
Have you seen that?
What are your thoughts on it? I have not seen that commercial. I don't watch a lot of commercials.
Their cans are different. They have a pure white can, and it's got the white Pepsi, but it's a white Pepsi sign.
Okay.
It's got a little color, just a tiny little splash of it, but it's all white. And they got a blue can, too.
Is it for, like, so they're not getting rid of their original stuff?
I don't think so. It's just a new
something
brand.
Special? Mm-hmm. Is it a new brand? Like
it's
a
Pepsi.
new flavor?
Yeah. It's a new pop.
Called Intro Pepsi? Intro to what? Like, I guess not. James says, I heard it was good. They said the girls stole the show. They fucking did.
That was fantastic.
Those women did awesome. Vindicator says, tell us about Warrington Ravi. Ravi says, Bayley should not be jobbing to Ronda. Exactly. Film says, I'm ready for Bayley to come back. And Ravi says, Ronda, who cares what her name is? James says, Ronda can't keep up with Charlotte this to go around. Film says, including Lacey Evans and Bliss Love My Bliss. And Vindicator says, I just hope Liv doesn't get buried or else she is dynamite bound. She'll never, Vindicator, I'm going to have to agree with Luke and Travis on that one a lot. Liv is never going to Dynamite. She's never going to go to AEW. Unless they do her so fucking dirty.
Yeah, she could get cut.
I mean, if they do her dirty, I mean, there's a good possibility. But in all reality, I have to agree with them. Liv is just completely, utterly, just madly dedicated to WWE. Lick their buttholes.
Oh
like,
God.
I can't wait to be there kind of stuff. It's kind of pathetic on her end, really. But she is. She really is. Greg adjusts toilet paper laughing. Nadula says, damn, first people hate Charlotte and now people hate Ronda too. Nadula, I've always not liked her. I didn't like her when she was there.
There was no...
She completely ruined the women's division for them to have any growth whatsoever. She set them back. What all those divas did to make the women's division better and become something, Ronda immediately set him back 10 years. Set him back to garbage, Neanderthal times of shit. And they've struggled to come back. And then her comments about wrestling after she was gone from it and the shit that she says, and she meant it, by the way. That wasn't her playing a character or anything like that. That was her. That's her honest opinion. And the shit she says, you guys still fucking support her. And I think that, that each to their own in their opinions. But my opinion is that she is absolute garbage.
Make no mistake, WWE knew what they were doing. They put this match together. Charlotte is the most hated wrestler they have on their roster. And they wanted to have Ronda over when she came back. So they put her up against Charlotte.
Doesn't
that
matter.
way...
Still hate her.
Well, you didn't hate... You'd have to have her go up against somebody you hated more than anybody else on the planet.
I would still hate her more.
Right. Well, anyways, and so that's why we're getting what we're getting. So now you're seeing people come out and say, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want Charlotte to win. Mm-hmm. And the reason we're seeing that is because Ronda is terrible. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people hate Charlotte. So WWE knew what they were doing.
And any woman out there who supports a dumbass bitch coming out there and saying, she's not going to call it the SmackDown Women's Championship anymore. I feel bad for you. You shouldn't be allowed to be a woman at this point. Like, you should turn into a trans and be something else.
Lord.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that you cannot, for the life of me, pretend that as a woman that I would go out there and be like, no, it's cool. She doesn't support women. Literally, she just said it to nationwide TV that she does not support women.
She botched and then said,
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care if you botch or not. It doesn't matter. That statement will live with you forever. It is on national television.
I bet you everybody in this chat already forgot she said it.
I'll never forget it.
You haven't even seen it.
I didn't even hear it. Doesn't even matter. I'll never forget it at this point. Ridiculous.
She messed up, and just said the SmackDown Championship. And then she went back to say it again and said, well, why do we have to say women in the first place? It's just the SmackDown World Championship. That's what she said.
Then if that's the case, then men should be able to win it too. Bitch, you should have to fight men for it. There you go. You guys all want to be treated as equal. There you go. Have at her. Robbie says Ronda is a mug. She just chats was all the time. As Robbie says, I didn't hate Charlotte. I just hated her getting priority over others. James says Charlotte at her best, like she shoots on them and no one can keep up with lately. Let's see. James says Ronda spoke her true feelings and needed that paycheck. Vindicator says money talks. That's why both Ronda and Cody returned to WWE despite all their bitterness and smack talking. Robbie says Ronda is no better than Condom at wrestling. James says they should have let Nikki win and it would be a win for Impact and WWE.
Oh no.
Robbie says money talks, dirty cash. I need it all. Ryoto in the chat. Hey, Ryoto says, hey, Travis, so delete that. Ryoto says, hey, Robbie. And Film says, I mean, like, I like Ronda, but I don't know WWE wrestling moves and UFC MMA don't mix. Anyways, we'll move on to the next one so I can get off my soapbox for the night. Anyways, because that'll come up later. The Women's Tag Team Championship match. A lot of people are kind of looking forward to this. There's huge fans of some of these people in this. Queen Zelina and Carmella are the champions right now. It'll be versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. What I think is really sad about this match is that they had to add more people.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah, this one is a tough one for me. I do know on Raw over the last few weeks and on SmackDown, the best matches of the night have been the women's matches with these ladies.
Right.
So this match could be the best match of the night.
True.
What I know for 100% is the champions aren't staying champion.
Oh, no. No, not with their implosion
So now
happening.
we're down to a 33% chance for the other ones.
Right.
Meaning, is it going to be Rhea and Liv or Natalya and Shayna? Or who's the other brother?
Sasha and Naomi.
Oh, yeah, Sasha and Naomi. So it's tough. I don't see Sasha and Naomi winning it either. Meaning that we're going to have either Rhea and Liv or Shayna and Natalya. And that leaves Rhea and Liv for me. So that's who I'm going to go with. Even though I would rather it would be Naomi and Shayna. Or Zelina and Carmella. But I don't see... I feel like it's a triple threat. You can take the champions right out of it.
Right. Because, one, they're having their own... they had a little bit of an implosion, and they'll get back together. But Carmella is getting married right after WrestleMania.
She is, next weekend.
She's probably going to want to take a break from, spotlighting and this stuff and everything so that she can probably just, have a married life for a little bit.
Yeah.
That way she's not a champion. And Queen Zelina is Queen Zelina. She can be queen without having a title because she's queen. So it doesn't really matter with that. The throwing together of Sasha Banks and Naomi, I don't know if they did this just so Sasha had something to do, or if they were doing it so they could make Naomi better, or what's happening there. I have no idea. I don't know. And in all reality, right, anybody could... I mean, how do they do these? Like, is it like...
I'm pretty sure... Does it say... If it was a Texas Tornado, I think it's a Texas Tornado tag team match. If that's the case, it's a fucking battle royal.
Right.
Of,
so all of
women.
them can be in there. It doesn't matter, and whoever gets pinned first is the winner.
Right. I wonder if it's in my description.
Yeah, it wasn't when you sent the stuff to me, so I don't know. It's so... I don't know. It's just such a weird... And why they had to throw Natalya and Shayna Baszler in there, I don't know. I don't know. Why would they do that? Why would they throw... Because they needed somebody to lose?
They needed... No. Shayna Baszler's not losing. And
No. I'm talking about Natalya. They're they needed somebody to take the fall.
That's what I'm talking about. Shayna and Natalya.
Right,
the tag team.
I
don't see them getting pinned.
You don't think that they'll get pinned?
No. Shayna's being pushed again, it looks like.
So the only one that can get pinned then is Carmella.
Carmella and Zelina. And they've been pinning the shit out of them over the last few weeks.
I don't know. I
I got to look up to see if that's a fatal, but it's not on their website whether it's a tornado, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that in their paperwork.
Yeah, it wasn't in anything you sent me, so I have absolutely no idea. Does anybody know if it's a special type of match for these ladies?
It's definitely a fatal four-way, but is it a Texas fatal four-way? Because if it's a Texas one, that means they're all in there at the same time.
One of each of their partners.
That would just be they could do that one also.
Okay.
So there's multiple different types, is what I'm getting at.
So that's what I was thinking, that it would be, they're all up there, right? And then they can only tag their partner in, but 4 of them can be in the ring at the same time.
Right. Didn't we see that the other day somewhere?
I don't know. Maybe.
I can't remember if that was in AEW or WWE. We saw a tag team match like that.
I think so.
But I can't remember what company it was with. If it was in AEW, we're not seeing it in WWE.
Vince saying that no, it's a regular 4-way match. So if it's a regular 4-way match, does that mean that they can tag anybody in?
So
but it's just 2 people in there?
A normal 4-way match is 2 people are in there.
Okay.
And you can tag anybody except for the person that you're wrestling's partner.
Okay.
And so there's 4 corners of tag team.
But you would never want to tag those other people in because then they
you
could
might
win.
be in so much trouble that you have no other choice. And plus, when you get close to them, they just smack you anyways.
Okay.
They tag themselves in.
James Jones says, yeah, they can tag anyone. And so it's basically what they say, a
yeah,
regular 4-way match. As of right now, that's what we're going with then.
Okay.
So if it's that, does that change anything? I mean, does it change anything if it's a regular 4-way match?
It's going to be crazy. You're going to see the same spots where one girl, she hits the finisher, and then this girl comes back in and she hits her finisher, and this girl comes in and hits her with her finisher, and this girl hits her with her finisher, and this girl hits her with her finisher.
So nobody really gets tagged in, they just come in and do stuff.
Oh, it's just going to be chaos. But I do feel like it's going to be a funner style match.
Because in all reality, if that was the case, you would never tag the champions in. They could just never get tagged in. They could just stand out there on the outside and never get tagged in. They could keep everybody away from them, and they'd just be standing there.
Right, but then they would lose by not being involved in the loss.
But that's what I mean though. They could do that, and then they'd never it just seems really unfair.
Right, but it is a television show, and so they will not do that.
As Vince says, 7 days to change those rules, though. It's Vince McMahon. Exactly, Ben. Right. So as of just right now, and if anything changes with updates of that, we're gonna go over all that on Friday. And the reason being is because in that way it gets us through that SmackDown also. So we'll see how that works. So I guess I'm gonna have to say, because of what they're doing, I feel like it's just a participation trophy for this, and I hate saying it because I don't like this matchup at all. But I'm gonna have to agree that it's gonna be Rhea and Dumbfuck Liv.
I thought for sure it would be you
Sasha
go with
Banks
Sasha
and
Naomi. Naomi does look like she's put on quite a bit of weight.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're starting to put her in bodysuits now, so she's not showing very much skin. Luke was talking about it on Friday even.
Yeah.
Anyways, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I just wonder if there's any depression or something else going on in her life.
Maybe, I don't know. Greg John says, what boxing event? Oh, it was
Warrington Martinez 2.
Yeah.
That was the title. It was on DAZN.
It was on DAZN. It was in the UK.
And probably Sky Sports in the UK.
Yeah, that's where it was at. So, let's see. Says, let's see. To get back up here with the indicators ahead. Vinegar says, Ronda maybe thought she was being an advocate for women equality, but her logic overall was screwed up. But Ronda does fight guys all the time in training, at least. Big difference, I know. Yeah, I want to see her actually have a boxing match with a dude and her not get her ass knocked out. Yeah. Let's see. Robbie says, no fam, Sasha and the Glow winning. Film says Team Rhea and Liv Morgan for the win. Luna's in the chat. Hey, Luna says, I don't have time to chat today. Me and my sister are busy. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow. All right, thanks for stopping in for a second, Luna. Appreciate it, though. Robbie says, please not diarrhea and Morgan spiced winning. Film says, I think Zelina and Carmella might split, but not Naomi and Sasha Banks, even though I want Sasha to turn her back on Naomi. I don't think it will happen anytime soon. Probably not.
Yeah, and come on, that would be the weirdest singles match ever. I don't even know if people would watch it. I mean, everybody loves Banks, but Naomi, Banks, one-on-one
It'd be
at SummerSlam, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Film says Natalya and Shayna Baszler will lose. Natalya says, "Oh, Wrestling Gab, don't you dare be sour. Clap for the new women's tag team's champion and feel the power. It is the 2/3 of the team bad, Sasha and Naomi." Yes, it is. All right. Vindicator says, "Yeah, they ruined what should be 2 versus 2 as originally Sasha plus Naomi versus Useless plus even more useless. That's tag champions. Then Liv and Rhea should battle winners on the Raw afterwards."
Yes.
Something like that.
But that's not happening.
But it's not probably going to go that way. Cricket John said Sasha and Naomi wins. James says, "Yeah, they can tag anyone in." And Vindicator Must Attractive. Bryce says, "I have no idea. I say just give the tag team titles to Sasha and Naomi. Get it over with. Natalya will screw over Shayna, Baszler, and Carmella and Zelina will go their separate ways." Vindicator says 7 days to change everything. And Bryce says, "I don't know. I feel like they should have kept it a triple threat match, in my honest opinion, instead of a fatal 4-way tag team match."
Yeah, they threw that tag team together real quick too.
Yeah.
With Natalya, and Shayna Baszler. That was just a weird throw together.
Well, she couldn't have Tamina anymore because Tamina's running around after the 24/7 belt and having whatever and kissing Tozawa and being all weird. Well, I was like, should have made it a ladder match. Right?
Oh,
Something
Jesus.
like that, huh?
I would have loved it. But, yeah, I mean, that match is definitely a strange one for me.
It's very weird. Anyways, that was one you were talking about that was going to be kind of like
it should be good.
Good, but it's going to be weird how they're going to dynamically.
They could have it where Sasha or Naomi gets pinned by Rhea or Liv, but it's kind of shady. Or vice versa. And then start that feud moving forward. Just those two teams, and then they could feud for the next few months. Or WrestleMania Backlash or Hell in a Cell, whatever they're going to do.
True.
That would be fine. To have one of those beat the other one, but kind of shady or a roll-up, something goofy, or steal the win from somebody else.
Right. The other person we aren't seeing and haven't seen is the one that beat Natalya.
Zelina?
Nope. The other girl that beat her so quick.
Oh, yeah. The Aaliyah?
Yeah. Haven't seen her either.
Yeah, we haven't even seen her on TV. Like,
yeah.
Aaliyah just disappeared.
Yeah. So, a lot of weird disappearances and people not being used in weird ways, which is so strange to me, but that's it. Let's go on. So, we'll talk about the Raw Tag Team Championship match. This, of course, is the guys. RK Bro champions versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. RK Bro just won it. So, I don't know what's going to happen here. Travis already know what he's going to say.
And that's that fatal 3-way?
Yeah, I guess
Profits.
it's a fatal 3-way, yeah.
It's a Street Profits. That one will have all 3 members in the ring at the same time. That's how 3-way matches work. But you can still tag out. I believe.
But with only your own person?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. At some point, RK Bro has got to have an implosion of them not being together anymore. Will they win? I don't know. I just know that I don't think Alpha Academy is going to win, but they're going to have to make sure they take out Otis at some point to make sure he is unavailable to do anything since he's the brute of the group of Alpha Academy.
He'll probably get RKO'd, and then frog splashed and get pinned. That's my guess. So Otis will probably get beat, or whatever his name is.
Or Chad.
Sheesh.
But I'm unfortunately going to have to say the Street Profits on this one, too. Not that I don't like the Street Profits. I like the Street Profits. And they haven't had it for a while, so it's fine if they, get it. And they are a true tag team, so
yeah,
I guess
absolutely,
that makes sort of sense. Let's see. Bryce says, so they can make it a triple threat match instead of a 4-way tag team if Naomi and Sasha are desperate to win the tag team titles in this storyline. Make them feel desperate that they want to win.
WWE, I wouldn't put it past them putting the titles on Shayna and Natalya, by the way. That one wouldn't surprise me. If I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. Vince likes
winning
both.
The actual championship?
Yeah, Vince likes both of them.
Yeah,
it makes sense, and they're not being used anywhere else where the other girls can all do something separate.
True. Yeah.
Those two can't. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Although Shayna Baszler was good in NXT, but she hasn't done shit on the main roster. Remember the biting?
Oh, God.
Becky could go after her for a while to get payback on that, You know, they could do some quick little storylines that way. But anyways.
Robbie says, random question. Should the refs wear gloves like they do in boxing sometimes?
They do when there's blood.
Yeah. They'll put on gloves when there's blood
they
in
put
anything.
the thick black gloves on when there's blood.
Yeah. If you ever watch AEW and there's blood, the refs immediately will have gloves on. And they do it in WWE too. They just don't see blood as often. But if there's blood, the refs have gloves like in their pockets or something. And they just immediately put them on.
Immediately.
It's like an immediate thing. So, yeah. Bryce says, so they can make it a triple threat match. I already read that. Vindicator says, new champion, so they can break up Orton and Riddle. It's been long past time for it. No Duelist says, shoosh, I got Alpha Academy because I want RK Bro to break up so Randy Orton can be 15-time world champion. Ah, thank you. James says, Street Profits and splitting RK Bro. Bryce says, I feel like RK Bro might win this match, but on the other hand, it's probably going to end up being Alpha Academy with Chad and Otis, not the Street Profits. And Sophie's in the chat for says, sorry I'm not
Sophie.
here, but I am doing a day by taking a day off. Fantastic,
Good
Sophie.
deal.
Well, thanks for just stopping in, though. Appreciate it there, hun.
She did not want to hang out with us on Friday because you weren't here.
Sweet. We're just doing predictions anyways, so it's, not really that important. It's just our opinions. Vindicator says, only in AEW matches, Robbie. That's the only place you will see an excessive amount of red liquid dripping from somebody's skull. Bryce says, okay, Wrestling Gab, I have to go. Bye. I will see you guys on Monday. Thanks, Bryce, for hanging with us for a moment. We appreciate your predictions, too. Robbie
Bye-bye.
says, Vin is the red stuff. Frank's hot sauce. LOL. Film says,
Put that shit on everything.
Put that shit on everything. Gross. All right. So, of course, the main event match of WrestleMania. We'll talk about it now. The WWE Champion versus the Universal Champion. The winner takes all championship unification match. Does that necessarily mean, though, that it's going to be unified into one belt and one title only? Not necessarily, guys.
No, they'll have both belts.
It just means that somebody will win both, will have both belts, supposedly. It is going to be, of course, the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus Universal Champion Roman Reigns. So it's kind of like Twilight. Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? I am Team Brock. So I'm just going to say I'm Brock Lesnar, and that's it.
Wow.
That's my pick. I'm going with it.
That's probably a really good pick. Every time I bet against Brock, he loses, or he wins, I mean. So I'm going to go with Roman. I'm okay with Brock winning this. And the reason for it is I just don't know what Brock's schedule is coming up.
Right.
If Brock's going to be on TV like he has been every single week, he's a different character than he was the last time, then it would work. He could be the main guy. Or are they going to do Roman, and so he's over him, hold the title for another year or so, and become one of the greatest ever. Because if he has the title for another year or more,
right,
you start putting him in the Hulk Hogan class. You start putting him in the Bruno Sammartino class.
Yeah.
And those are immortal guys.
Yeah.
Ric Flair is another guy.
I just think it's weird, though, because he hasn't been a champion multiple times. He's just a champion.
Right. Well, yeah, but if he has it for 1,000 fucking days, that's a different guy. Hogan had it for 1,400 days, I think. Bruno Sammartino had it for like that.
How many times before that had he been a champion?
Hogan?
Uh-huh.
Couple, maybe two.
Okay.
Maybe one.
Okay.
I don't remember how long that
I think it was
reign
different back
was.
in those days, though, because the champions actually meant something more. And I don't know if they're trying to bring that back, where it's just not a participation trophy for people. And
right.
Here, this guy gets it.
But either,
oh my God, that guy. Oh,
either way,
crying
you
about not
can't
being a
go
champion.
wrong with this. Whoever wins
Not
this.
really. I mean, I just personally don't like Roman. That's
Right.
all, guys. I really don't like him. I know a lot of people love him to death. You guys think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I just don't. I can't stand
They
him.
can easily work in, if he wins the Brock match, have him lose at SummerSlam to Cody. And maybe that's how they get Cody to sign. And
True.
said, hey, look, you're going to be champion
Right.
Summer.
Right.
And everybody's okay with that. Nobody's mad about that.
Right.
And it works because the nightmare is what he's going to be. It's going to work. And he's Cody.
Let's see. Philman said, hey, Sophie. And Sophie says a triple threat match with Ricochet is taking place on Mania SmackDown this Friday. actual card. Look what's wrong about that. James says AEW overdue. The Blood There Revolution pay-per-view was strong enough and didn't even need it.
Fact.
Film says, I hope they don't unify the titles. Please keep the WWE Championship and WWE Universal Championship separate. Rob is like, Brock, please win and get it over with. And Film says, please don't combine the titles. Nadula says, I hope if WWE bring back the World Heavyweight title because it kind of look on Roman and Brock.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite belt of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The big gold.
Yeah. Medicare says, Delete, I saw a video on the tube on Ronda channel where she said she always has ketchup with her breakfast because she's a typical American. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, I don't know, Medicare. I do not necessarily. It depends on what I'm having for breakfast, but I do not put ketchup on everything. Like, I know there's a lot of people that do. Travis was actually one of those Americans that literally had ketchup on everything. He's kind of changed that as he's gotten older and stuff like that. But in all reality, like, I've never done it. So I don't know why people would.
It pretty much tastes great on each one of the breakfast foods.
Yeah, and I don't like it. Like,
Hash browns, yes.
Well,
eggs, yes.
Okay. So I
don't know what else there is. Bacon, it'd probably be fine. Bacon tastes good on its own.
Right. So that's what you would say because that's why people would put it on. I don't. I think it's gross. I don't like it on my eggs. I think it's disgusting. I think the only time I ever put it on my eggs is if I take my over easy eggs and mix them with my very crispy hash browns, and I might put a little bit of ketchup in it to give it a little extra kick. But that's it. I never like it that way anyways.
Right. So who did everybody pick?
I was getting to that. Thank
Roman.
you. I was moving on. Ravi says, film, it will make it better viewing. Sophie says, WWE Evil is a great show. You guys should check it out. We will probably end up watching it, Sophie. Ravi says, then Ronda has a screw loose. And Film says, I will be sad if they combine the titles. I just want those titles to be left alone. Film says, please, WWE, please don't do that. Honestly, please. Ravi says, film, then leave them alone. Minnie here says Ronda would probably put ketchup on or hot sauce on waffles for all we know. Rob is like, film, give Vince a bell and ask him not to. Vince, she probably would put ketchup on you if she could. Minnie here's like, just be thankful this is not Drew versus Roman because Luther would instantly wish to phase out of existence and then rematerialize 30 minutes later. I would probably
not come back.
Almost just get up and leave. I really would. At that point, I would just... I have no...
It's going to happen, guys. They're going to feud again.
It's going to happen. And
okay.
I'm going to be checking out completely when that does happen. Film says, for better viewers, you say, Ravi. And Sophie says, Friday's live stream was kind of boring without D here. Film says, Ravi, oh, haha, good one. Like, leave the actual alone. That was funny, Ravi. Ha, good joke. Ravi's like, film viewing fam. Vindicator says, unlike Ravi, not enough money in it for the world for it. Ravi says, Sophie, were you watching Mania? Where are you watching it? And James says, Roman. Okay. Natalya says, I got the head of the table, the tribal chief, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, and when Roman Reigns wins, everyone have to acknowledge him.
Acknowledge me.
Right. Anybody else have some other stuff happening or anything else they want to say on that particular one? It's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, I think it's kind of like, I think it's kind of almost on that one. It's either you're this fan or you're this fan. I mean, unless you're just going off of what's good for business. Films like, say, where is Picola? He's probably doing stuff in life.
What's good for business is keeping the two separate and having one be champion on one channel, one be champion on the other channel.
Well, of course that's good for business, but
they didn't go that route, so they had some other story.
Something weird, and that's how it worked out. James says, Roman on point, right? It took me this long to finally like him. And it's so funny, right? Because I so don't like him. Like, no matter what. Like,
except for the Cody prediction.
Yes, that's what we're going to talk about now. That's why I was asking if there's anybody else wanting to pipe in about that Roman stuff and everything. Ryan says, thought for the day, WWE is fraudulent. Okay, yes, of course. All right, so of course, everybody knows that Seth Rollins has been desperately trying to get a WrestleMania, any kind of WrestleMania match, any kind, right? And there are huge things, and people. This happened. Cody Rhodes is signed with WWE. So now it comes down to the fact of, is it going to be Seth Rollins going to come out at some point, and he's just going to be like, "Where's my chance?" And whenever it happens, I don't know, night 1, night 2, I don't even know where they would put it in that it would be helpful. because I don't really want him to upstage Roman and Brock by doing it after that.
Oh, it's not being after
kind of
that.
stuff. And so it's got to happen sometime before then. And I just don't know if it would be good for night 1. I think it would be better for night 2 stuff. So is it going to happen?
Yes.
You know, are we going to see it on WrestleMania?
Yes.
Okay. So if it happens and we see it on there, what's it entail? Like, is it just that Seth Rollins is going to come out and say, where's my chance at WrestleMania? And then he's going to get an impromptu match? Or is it just going to be a Seth is out there promoing, talking in his weird suit outfit he has on. And then Cody comes out to his music. Cody.
Yeah, lights are going out.
American Nightmare. Mm-hmm. He's his character. He is Cody Rhodes, right? He is Cody.
The American
There's none
Nightmare.
of this fucking dumbass gimmick shit. It's Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. And he comes out and his music pops and he's just like out there. And then they just... does he say anything?
Right. The lights are going to go out first. The crowd's going to kind of wonder at first what's happening. And then you're going to see the light on the tunnel. And then his music's going to start. The crowd's going to blow a gasket.
Right. So are they going to have a match, though? Like,
yes.
Are they going to fight?
Yes.
Are they going to have a match that night? Like, is he going to come out and he's going to be like, all right, I'm ready. And, you know, he's in his nice suits, too. Because he wears extremely nice suits, which are a lot more dapper than Seth Rollins' suits. Seth Rollins loud.
Looking like Bobby Lashley in his suit.
But, you know.
Speaking of which, Bobby Lashley could still wrestle almost, too, if we're throwing these weird matches in here.
It's true. But we'll get to some Friday stuff. That's why I want to go over this one first, though.
Right. I would assume it's on night 2, and the reason I'm saying that is because if you count the matches, there's only 5. But if they have Seth and Edge on night 2, it's night 1.
Edge and AJ, yeah. Edge and AJ.
And so it's really going to just depend on what night that's on.
Right.
Because they've got to add a 6th match. They wouldn't add a 7th match to the first night and have 5 in the second night.
So if they do have a match, and they team and they do have an actual match, what's going to happen? Who's going to win?
Cody. With the Crossroads.
So I agree. If they're going to bring him back, he probably had stipulations, and then they'll have a big feud. But yeah, I think if they actually have an actual match, that Cody Rhodes will win. As James says, Cody is going to take over the WWE. Nadula says, who would win in a fight between Roman Reigns and Carmelo Hayes in a champion versus champion? Carmelo Hayes. I don't know who Carmelo is.
I think he's NXT North American champion.
Oh.
I think. I could be wrong on that one. I would say Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I think it's just to a point where he's so popular that he'd have to win.
Any match, Roman's basically winning right now. Except for maybe Cody. We'll see how Cody pops and how they play him over the next throughout summer to see if he gets the title off Roman. Because he is the guy. Roman's still going to be a heel. Cody against Seth makes Cody an automatic face when he comes back. And he likes being the face. He doesn't like being a heel.
Right. But, you know, he's still going to be in the American Nightmare and still be a face, which we've seen. Philip says, I think Roman Reigns is going to win because they really want to do Roman versus The Rock for next year's WrestleMania. P.S. Hopefully Roman will destroy The Rock at Mania.
Yeah, I hope The Rock doesn't come back and beat Roman. That's just
weird.
Dumb.
But, you know, hey, who knows? It's WWE, right, guys? Philip says, please let it be Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. That'll be so epic. And James says, Cody is going to take over the WWE. Vindicator says, I got the former AEW executive winning and Tony Khan smiling the whole and taking some credit for it. LOL. Philip's like, let's go, Cody. And Vindicator says, whole time. James says, Vin, man, laughing. And Robbie says Seth is getting involved in the KO 316 segment. That would be on the first night, and we're kind of hoping they'll open the show with that because it will give it the best pop because of where they're at. James says, Tony did Cody wrong, man. Wow, I still can't believe it. Tony just doesn't have the money, James.
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to is the fact that Tony has fucked himself. Tony's fucked himself, and he's put himself in a corner that he cannot keep big, good talent. He's fucking himself by hiring the guys that he's hiring. These guys that are really good and they made AEW what they are, they're contracts are coming up, and they're going to request more money, and Tony's not going to be able to pay him because he's getting all these rejects garbage from WWE, and now what? Things aren't going to happen the way they need it to.
And it really is going to depend on how Vince treats Cody over the next year or two.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he treats him as gold, like a nice shiny object, and he puts him out in front,
it'll work.
All those AEW guys are going to be like Kenny Omega.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be like, hold on a second. If Cody's world champion, I can go over there and be world champion. Mm-hmm. And I can get paid world champion money, which AEW can't afford.
Yep.
You know, John Moxley may never go back.
Yeah.
But John Moxley's going to have to take a pay cut at some point.
Yep.
And now they have him in the mid-card wrestling with Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. And he's their highest paid guy.
Yeah.
At some point, he's going to have to take a pay cut or bounce. And has he burned the bridge with the WWE? Maybe. But Vince will bring anybody back.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's not one of those spiteful guys.
We've seen it, right? Ronda?
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I think the only person he may not ever bring back might be CM Punk.
He'd bring him back for the right price.
That might be the one that he wouldn't bring back, possibly, depending on the circumstances. But
I mean, if CM Punk's going to be $750,000 a year or something, he's bringing him back.
Yeah.
He'd be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
But CM Punk's not coming back to WWE.
Film says, let's go. Cody, I'm going to delete that. Not a fan of Stardust or Starbucks or whatever. They just can't do that. Cody is what he is, and he needs to be what he is. Vindicator's like, nah, Cody is just a mercenary like all the others. James Nadula says, if Rollins versus Rhodes happen, then I got the dashing Cody Rhodes. Right? Film says, hopefully Alexa Bliss will make an appearance at WrestleMania. James says, Vin, you can see it, WWE getting ready to change their era of format. Cody made history, the first to jump soon, more to come. Ravi says, no, Rock ain't coming back. Tony on a madness. James says, oh yeah, CM Punk, Danielson, Moxley, $6 million apiece, needs to let one of them go. Right? I mean, even if it's $6 million altogether, that's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Well, Moxley was their highest paid guy. He's making $2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Now, granted, he was champion. It was working.
Yeah.
And then they brought in all these other guys, and they're like, hey, we have to do all these storylines before we can get back to you. So you're going to have to tag with Daniel. Mm-hmm. And it's like, ugh. Vindicator's
like, maybe Cody will rack up spoon-fed title victories like Orton, Cena, Triple H, and Spawn. You know, is it spoon-fed for him, though, Vin? Because Cody's made a name for himself. He didn't ride the coattails of his dad. He's made his father's legacy more, not rode on that legacy. He is added to it. There's a difference.
He doesn't use any of his dad's moves. You know what's funny is there are a few guys in there that do his dad's moves.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name? QT Marshall. With that atomic elbow. That's Dusty's.
Yeah.
Which is a tribute, which is awesome. And he's always with Dustin and Cody. He was in that group with them.
Right, when they first started up, yeah.
But Cody doesn't do it. He doesn't do the atomic elbow. He doesn't do the dancing. He doesn't do any of the shimmy. Cody's his own guy.
Yeah. And I don't really consider that, being spoon-fed titles. Right. You aren't spoon-fed titles if you're making a name for yourself. He never, he hasn't. I mean, they may have, they probably asked him, is it okay since you're back to being Cody Rhodes? Is it okay if we announce you as the grandson of or the son of? You know what I'm saying? Like the grandson of a plumber, all that stuff. It comes to a point where he did what was best for business when he was with AEW. Not once did he go, well, I deserve to have the title. I deserve to be the main champion. I deserve it, blah, blah, blah.
He actually said that I'll never be champion again.
Exactly. And he also was that when he decided to do the television championship. It probably was something that he decided that was his idea. And maybe he got that out of a playbook from his dad. I don't know. I've heard that
Dusty was TV champion.
Like some of that stuff, right? And decided that, hey, I'll start it out to get these guys. And what did he do? He helped young guys in their debuting look good as a wrestler.
Right.
He didn't go out there and just bury every single new person that came out.
In 30 seconds.
In 2 seconds. In 3 seconds. In 30 seconds.
Yeah,
However long it took to do one move and they were
He'd have
done.
a 7-minute match with somebody that came out of nowhere. Ricky Stark is a prime example. Ricky Stark gets buried that first match. He's not what he is.
Yeah. I just think that Cody is... I don't think, Vindicator, that you can fit him into those pegs that you want him to be in. He is just completely separate from that. He may have the legacy because of what's behind him and his family, but he doesn't ride off of that legacy. He contributes to that legacy. Right. Like, nobody's ever going to be like, well, you know, the son of Dusty Rhodes over here. They're going to say, hey, Cody Rhodes' dad, you know, was Dusty Rhodes. You remember that guy?
Just like Bray Wyatt. Nobody knew that his family's third generation, you know, greatest wrestlers of all time types.
Right.
You'd never know it. People would have to Google it and be like, what?
Or that, you know, that his brother was in there with him.
Bo. Get the Bo Lee.
And all that stuff. Film says, totally agree with you, Ravi. Film says, no Rock. James says, Heyman had that WrestleMania spoiler picture with Roman winning, Brock laid out, and Moxley in the background waiting to come out.
I've seen that.
Robbie says, I think Tony will sell if he gets a good price. Well, Tony Khan doesn't really own it. His daddy does.
He would have to talk to his dad about selling it.
So it could be that his daddy says, oh, I got the right price from somebody. I'm selling shit. Bye, son.
And Tony doesn't have a say.
He has no fucking say.
Which would suck for him.
No say at all in the actual ownership. Running it, but not
we
the
should
actual
do a short.
ownership.
We should make a video on that. And wear glasses and have an afro. And then, Dad, no. No.
You can't sell my stuff. James says Cody earned it. He could have put the main title on himself anytime and didn't do it. Yeah, that's where I was talking to Travis about that. Like,
the Bucks did it. They put it on themselves.
Yeah, for a long time. They had it forever. Nadula says, I think Roman vacates the title, then he set up a tournament, then Cody Rhodes wins the tournament to become our new WWE champion, at least hold the title for about 270 days as a WWE champion.
Right. You know, it really depends on what's happening after Mania. Is Roman leaving to do movies?
Well, that's it, too,
Is he
right?
leaving for 6 months? They're going to drop the title. If Brock's leaving, he's going to drop the title. One of them, or if both of them are leaving, then you can get a tournament.
Right.
I mean, I love tournaments.
Something's happening there, right? That somebody's doing something in their personal life or business life or something, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and what's
or else they wouldn't be doing this match. They would be on different brands.
Exactly. Like, something's happening somewhere and why they're doing it, and they figured it would be the best to do it this way, which is fine. You know, I mean, it is what it is, and there's nothing anybody's going to change about it at this point. As James says, look at the ones Cody helped build are slowly disappearing to dark or nothing for them. Yeah, which is ridiculous because that's what Cody said it was about. And I think that's why him and Tony are going separate ways. Because AEW is going in the direction of something that Cody never wanted. He didn't want to be a byproduct of WWE. He wanted it to be its own thing.
Tony Khan's doing everything now. He's running everything. Yeah. And when the AEW first started, Tony Khan was obviously there. He was the president.
Well, yeah.
But the Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody were running things. Mm-hmm. They were booking it. And you can just tell the company is changing. Now Tony Khan, because you got one voice, is pushing the things. And you can tell which guys he likes more than other guys. You can tell what guys are disappearing.
Yep. It's pretty sick. It's sad. It's pathetic.
He must have really watched and liked WWE and NXT and said, you know what, I like this. I want to own all those guys. And now he's stuck with it. But what he forgot is that AEW beat those guys in the ratings. Yep. And now he brought in all the guys that they beat.
Yep. And
now he's getting rid of the guys that beat them.
Yeah.
There's a big problem. It's like Vince is like, you're trading me my show for your show? Okay. Yeah.
And the reason why he was taking away from NXT these the different generations of people that are watching wrestling is because it was new guys. It was guys they hadn't seen. It was old school wrestling stuff. It was things that they were like, holy crap, this is like the old days, blah, 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 blah.
I forgot that I missed it.
Rinse and repeat. I forgot that I missed it. Yada, yada, yada. Now it's just another NXT episode. Yay, with some blood. Whoopee.
Yeah.
My excitement for it has gone completely away. I just don't even look forward to it really that much.
Yeah, it's still a quick
sad.
show because there's less talking. So I still like that. So Wednesdays aren't a big deal.
Right. Yeah, but but do I look forward to like, oh, hey, we're going to... How many times do you sit there and you go, hey, where did this guy go? Oh, I forgot he even existed. How sad is that? And they were the original guys that you first started watching on AEW, and you're like, where did they go?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sad that they're taking...
Not that I like Joey Janela, but he's
still,
not there. He won't sign.
And, you know, and why? Because he won't be on Just Dark.
Right.
Like, why would you, if you're not going to get TV time and you're giving all the TV time to all these others? But, yeah, so it's just crazy. Phelps says, I want Bliss at WrestleMania. Maybe fight somebody. If not, maybe fight somebody on Raw. I want to see your beautiful, attractive, arm president. Number one, I love my Alexa Bliss. Oh, my God. I said, go Alexa Bliss. Vinegar says, I agree on Cody mostly paving his own way, even though ironically he was in a group called Legacy with Orton and Ted DiBiase Jr. LOL. But how long ago was that, you know, when he was just coming into it?
They were all young.
Young boys. Young, just starting. That's different. When you're just starting, of course you're going to utilize what your daddy can do. But he went away from that and became his own person.
After he left WWE.
So, James says Tony and Dad only has a certain budget for wrestling. Oh, yeah. Robbie says, do it, D. Would look so good in an afro. Right. James says Kenny did too. Yeah, he put the title on himself. You know, he was like, no, I want to be the title winner for a while. If I'm not, then I'm going to go away. You know, like you have this talent and then all of a sudden they throw their little tantrums and they want the title on them and then what do you do? Boom says, oh yes, P.S. It definitely took me a while for me to notice that Bray Wyatt had a brother who's also a wrestler named Bo Dallas. LOL.
Right.
Beast Slayer's in the chat. Hey, Beast Slayer says, quick prediction. Your reigning, defending, undisputed Universal and WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. Bill says, by the way, do you guys think that Bray Wyatt might show up at WrestleMania? Yes or no?
I wish.
At this point,
I always just say
no.
keep wishing.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen in the future, but as of now, I think those wounds are too raw. I don't think it's going to happen right
Isn't it nice
now.
to have worked for WWE as a top-level guy, got paid top-level money? Because you don't have to work after that. He made millions every year.
As long as he invested and saved his money in a good way, then yes, he is probably well off for a while.
He's just fine. Yeah, he's just like, you know what, I don't need to go wrestle anywhere right now. He's taken, not quite a year off, but he's taken some time off. He's fine.
Yeah. James says, I love AEW. That not my same program. I fell in love with AEW showing not good signs. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, when we first started watching, I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. I was like, well, this is kind of fun and quick and exciting and stuff like that. And the more NXT people they start showing in it, the more my interest wanes and the more I just don't even want to pay attention to it because I'm like, oh, this dumbass is out here. And it's because I didn't like him in NXT. Why would I like him in another program? I'm not going to. I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't want to see them. I want to see these big guys out there, you know, like these huge guys doing stuff. I don't want to see these little tiny guys that are old as sin doing weird shit. Then here's this, Travis, should they bring back King of the Ring Queen 2, I guess, as a major pay-per-view? I love tournaments too.
I mean, if they're going to do a tournament, yes.
Backlash or TLC.
But they do those in like this back, you know, behind the scenes stuff in Raw or whatever. So it's going to be a mid-card Raw match for 3 months, and then we'll have a Queen or a King. But yeah, actually, a pay-per-view would be fantastic.
Yeah.
With a tournament? Come on.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, hell, why not? James says, yo, right, fanboy, that what he is, but putting on a TNT network like Eric Bischoff. Right, Orange Derby, always tag matches, now more and many more. You know, and it's fine with him being with Sting, right? I mean, it helps his gimmick, it helps his character build and stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, and he was like their little TV champion and stuff like that. But can I say that I'd be like, oh yeah, totally, I can totally see Darby as the like full champion of AEW? No, I can't. Why? Because it's Darby. Like, ugh. Like I don't like the way he talks. He can't talk, for one. His promos are basically him throwing himself around trying to hurt himself. Like, who... Like, dude, I know you have a death wish, but I seriously do not want to see you do that on your YouTube channel, if you have one, your Twitter, your TikTok, whatever it is you do in your spare time of stupid, and then try to do that crap on AEW and then die. Like, because that seems to me, he just literally has a death wish. He just wants to die or be so badly hurt. Well, I haven't been hurt yet, so it's fine. I'll just do something even more crazy. And it's like, at some point, guy, that shit's not going to work. Like, you're going to be broken or dead. And then where are you at? How is that good for yourself or business or being a wrestler or not just that, but being somebody that little kids are looking up to? Like, seriously, you want little kids to go out there and throw themselves off of 2-story buildings? Get into a vehicle on their property, right, and take it and fly over your house and wreck it into other things? Like, are you really teaching children what they should be doing? No, I don't think so. I think that that's wrong. Anyways, James says, MJF, stay. We will give you another ring. Vinegar says, yeah, Tony wanted to desperately get those old school NXT fans, and his original roster lineup did suffer a little for it. Greed will get you every time. James says, I like y'all. Y'all are true. Thanks, James. We like you too. You have good points. Like it. Film says, in 2022, I want to see either Darby Allin or Jungle Boy become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And then you heard me say why he shouldn't be. Vinegar says, Darby wants to prove his feminine physique is indestructible. Typical Generation Z flunky. Film's like, okay, Missy, your house, I have to go. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out. God bless America. God bless WWE. Women's our pits. Love y'all. Big hugs. Big hearts. Love you guys. You guys rock. All right. Awesome, man. Thanks for hanging out with us for our predictions. All right. So, there were some things that are going to happen on SmackDown Friday, so we're going to go over those real quick because they are important. A lot of people were kind of wondering where Ricochet was going to be. He is actually going to have a match on Friday. His match is going to be up against the Los Lotharios at the same time.
Yes, it's a triple threat.
So,
for the Intercontinental Championship.
That's going to happen. And the other thing that normally happens in WrestleMania is not happening at WrestleMania. It's happening on SmackDown. The Andre the Giant Battle Royale is happening on SmackDown on Friday, guys.
It is. So it looks like Friday is going to be a pretty big show.
They're going to have stuff happening, and that's everything. So from that, when you were talking earlier about Bobby Lashley and Amos. So Amos was a winner of the Battle Royale of Andre the Giant last year. Yep. He did win it.
On SmackDown. It did happen on SmackDown again last year. So I guess they got a big pop for that, enough that they're going to do it again this year. But will that change once they have WrestleMania on just one night again? I don't know. If that ever happens. Yeah. I don't know why they think that it's going to be better. I think it fucks people out of stuff if they charge them for both nights. Like 2 separate prices. I think that's kind of being a lot greedy, but whatever. Anyway, so who's going to be in this Battle Royale? You cannot have the people. There's a list of them. You cannot have the people that are going to be on WrestleMania because they can get hurt. There's like 16 guys. So it looked like Ricochet was going to be in it twice. I did see the lineup. I'd have to find it, though. Right? So, I mean, you have a lot of big guys. Veer, for one, will not be because he's going to make his debut on Raw on Monday. So you won't see Veer. He won't be there. So you have Amos, you have Sheamus, you have Shanky, you have Ridge Holland. You're going to have guys that are from Raw, of course. A whole bunch of other people. We got Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Eric Ivar, Apollo, Commander Aziz, Robert Roode, Jinder Mahal, R-Truth, Madcap Moss, Shinky, Reginald, Tozawa, Drew Gulak, Sheldon Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and Mansoor. So those are all the people that, I mean, and we might see, I don't know if Ali is still basically with WWE, but I don't know what he's doing. So I don't know if anything like that is happening. But notice we haven't said Amos yet. Right. So Amos could still be wrestling Bobby Lashley. We're waiting for Bobby Lashley to get cleared, and they're hoping he gets cleared in time for Mania. He's supposed to be out 3 months. Right. And that he's really close to that. So there's a possibility that we'll probably see that. I'm guessing on probably night 2. Bobby Lashley, Amos kind of matchup. I feel like that turns into a big time thing. It does. Because Bobby Lashley cannot lose to Amos. That would be dumb. But Amos can't lose to Bobby Lashley because... Right. It's just a dumb matchup unto itself. Why on earth they don't have like Commander Aziz and Shanky or Jinder Mahal, all those guys take on Amos. They're just trying to make him into something that he's not, which is really strange to me. But
James says, for some reason, I think they're going to add the U.S. title and IC title on Mania card 2. But Nadula says, I cannot believe is that the U.S. title is not going to be at the line at WrestleMania. That's it, right, Nadula? And I know, James, that you think that they're going to. But in all reality, I don't think they're going to. If they're going to have the freaking Intercontinental Championship title match on SmackDown with Ricochet, like, how are they going to put that on WrestleMania? They're not going to do that. I mean, unless even if he loses it, right? Okay, they don't. So he loses it to one of those guys. They're not going to just all of a sudden have an impromptu match. No. And also the Finn Balor, like the United States Championship one, like, where's that at? Why, if they're going to have WrestleMania and it's about champions and it's about championships,
it's not. They don't care about their mid-card titles. They just don't.
And it's pathetic. It's so
they've shown it.
Pathetic.
I'm surprised the tag team champions are being.
I was just going to say that because Vince hates tag teams so badly. It's weird that they even have that on there. But Walter's in the chat. Hey, Walter, how's it going, my man? Says Brock Lesnar will win. Kevin Owens will get stunned by Steve Austin.
Woo!
And Cody will win over Seth. So Walter's going that, yes, of course, Seth is going to have a match and Cody Rhodes is going to show up for it. Vindicator says, I heard about the idea of Veer making his return at Mania to defeat Omaha to launch his stardom. But yeah, a shame that won't happen. Another wasted opportunity.
Yeah, no.
Nadula says, imagine Veer Mahan challenge Finn Balor for the U.S. title as his first match.
I put a title on him right out of the gate. That would be sick.
Walter says RK Bro will win at Mania. Oh, Walter's going that RK Bro is going to retain their title, eh? Yeah, we put the Street Profits for that. So anyways, I just wanted to make sure we talked about some changes that did happen on SmackDown that they did release kind of like after the fact. They kind of said that the whole Andre the Giant Battle Royale, they did mention it more on yesterday. That was kind of scooped out there that was going to happen on SmackDown. Because it kind of was like they weren't even going to do it, right? And that's like a tradition. So it's kind of weird that they didn't even have it.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to do it.
And they don't have enough women to do the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, so that's not happening.
Yeah. And they can't because they put all their women on WrestleMania. Literally. They have no women to put on there.
Doudrop, she doesn't have a match.
Nope, she
doesn't. Which is just weird to me.
Which is weird.
Xylee, obviously, I mean, she's young. Aaliyah, which we were just talking about, and others. There's some other females.
Yeah,
Tamina.
There's other ladies.
Dana Brooks. We are going to see a 24/7 championship shit throughout the whole thing, I have a feeling.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Maybe in the pre-shows, they could change the title 7 times, you know?
It's true.
On both pre-shows and all week, because they're going to have access all week. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
It could be a fun little YouTube gimmick for the rest of the week.
Right. Vindicator says Omaha just isn't a good fit. It's unrealistic for him to lose to anybody unless they cheat. I know Vince wanted to honor his dream to wrestle, but he miscalculated the appeal he'd have on the fans. It'd be different if he could do, like, if he did better stuff. But even all the time he was with AJ, you know, it's not like... And I don't know if they're just trying to find a weird replacement for Andre the Giant or what's going on with it, but it's really weird.
Big guys sell to young people.
Yeah, I guess.
It always has. Andre the Giant was one of the most popular wrestlers of all time. People love the movie Princess Bride because of Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
And he's just Andre the Giant. Like, he moves just like Andre did. He talks like Andre did.
True.
Same size.
I like that movie for actually, what's his face in it, personally?
Robin Hood Men in Tights. That guy?
Oh, what is that guy's name?
I have no clue. He's in that show with the saw blade, too.
His first name is like a
Saw.
girly kind of name.
No, don't even try to think of that.
Anyways, but no, actually, it's for the Spaniard.
Oh, yeah.
It's after the six finger. My name is Viva Montoya.
Yeah, I don't know.
You killed my father. Prepare to die. That's why I happen to like him a little bit better. But Walter says WWE does last changes for Mania. LOL. They do, Walter, and anything can happen, right? Match card is subject to change at all times. Walter says Ronda Rousey will win over Flair. Nodula says, I kind of wonder if Angel Garza and Humberto going to break up after the triple threat match for the IC title.
It's interesting. Do you think they'll take the titles off Ricochet? I know that's not a WrestleMania prediction, but Ricochet just got it.
I know.
I feel like Ricochet has to win that match.
I feel like if they did that, it would hurt them more than it would help them. I think it's
I mean, I'm okay with him being champion, either any of the three, but Ricochet just got it. Let him be champion for 6 months.
Let him be a champion, for God's sake, you jerks.
They don't use the belts anyways. I mean, shit, Nakamura was champion. He left.
Yeah. Vindicator says, Vince never learned that not every supposed major signing is a smart one. Yeah. Nadula says, well, I cannot believe it's almost 1 a.m. in my place. Well, I bet it is. I'm so sorry. Walter says Fandango announced he's retired from wrestling.
Yeah, retired from the sport.
He's done, huh? Admiral Martha's in the chat with some cheeseburgers and a Coke. Unbroken is in the chat, says the Princess Bride had a great cast. Vindicator's Andre was far more comedic than Omaha, though you won't see Omaha appearing on talk shows like Andre did. Oh, no. No. Film says, bye, Misty and Travis. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out. Yes, you said bye. Bye again. Anyways, all right. So that's basically all the predictions that we have for night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania that's coming up. Again, the match card is subject to change. If any changes or matches are added, we will make sure and keep notes, and then we'll probably go over that again on Friday after SmackDown's over, just because that way we have all the information that we need to do anything. We probably won't really be here for the pre-show, like the whole part of it.
We will jump on if there's a match.
Yes. But we will definitely see you guys tomorrow for Raw, so we'll see what happens tomorrow of more, build up and stuff for WrestleMania happening on the weekend.
See if Cody shows up.
Cody shows up. Vindicator says, okay, guys, you take care. See you tomorrow night. Yes. Of course. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for our predictions. We really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your afternoon or evening or night. Get some sleep if you're in an area where it's nighttime and time to go to bed.
All right. Thanks for watching Wrestling Gap. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.